Parathyroid hormone is the another hormone involved in the bone homeostasis. In this video, I am going to tell you what is parathyroid hormone and what are its physiological actions. Hey everyone, welcome back to HM Learnings. I am Harshita, the creator of HM Learnings, where students come to clear their concept and to get the study material. Make sure that you have subscribed my channel. You can also follow HM Learnings on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We have also started uploading all our content on website known as SlideShare. You can easily download and clip our slides from that website. I will also share the link of the SlideShare link of this video slides in the description box. You can click on that link and you will be on the SlideShare. So with this, we will begin our today's video that is about the parathyroid hormone. This video is a part of a series of bone homeostasis that we are doing. We have already finished with the calcitonin. We have already finished with the vitamin D video previously, and now we are doing the parathyroid hormone video, and after this we will do the calcitonin video, and then we do a video in which I just combine all these hormones and then tell you that how all three of these hormones they act on the target tissues to keep the calcium in a normal range. Okay. So with this we start talking about the parathyroid hormone. It is a peptide hormone, and with the name you can see that it is being secreted by the parathyroid glands. Now parathyroid glands are basically 4 in number and they are located on the posterior surface of the thyroid gland, 2 on the left lobe of the thyroid gland and 2 on the right lobe of the thyroid gland. And in the parathyroid gland, we have 2 types of the cells, the chief cells and the oxyphilic cell. The chief cell is the one which secretes a parathyroid hormone. So parathyroid hormone is secreted by and synthesized by the chief cells of parathyroid glands, and parathyroid glands are located on the posterior surface of the thyroid gland. Okay. So what is the stimulus of the parathyroid hormone secretion? So whenever we talk about any hormone, I say this in vitamin D also, I say this in cortisol also, that whenever we talk about the any hormone, first we need to know that how, from where it is secreted, what is the nature of that hormone, what are the stimulus of that hormone, what is the mechanism of action of that hormone, what are the physiological actions of the hormone, and how the levels of the hormone are being regulated. So with that we start with this stimulus of the parathyroid secretion. So parathyroid hormone has a function to regulate the calcium levels, and its main function is to raise up the serum calcium level. So definitely when there is a low plasma calcium level, it will be stimulated and there will be a secretion of the parathyroid hormone. Okay, so here you need to remember that this is the ionized calcium level. So in the plasma we have ionized and non-ionized calcium level. It is a free form of the ionized calcium level which actually causes the secretion, or which actually modulates or regulates the secretion of the parathyroid hormone. Other stimulus are the low vitamin D levels as well as the high phosphate level. So we will just do one by one that how the secretion of the parathyroid hormone happens, and then we also see its action, then mechanism of action, and then finally the regulation. So secretion of the parathyroid hormone is already, we have said that it is done by the chief cells of the parathyroid gland, or you can say the chief cells of the parathyroid gland. Now there is a calcium sensor receptor which is being located on the plasma membrane of the chief cells. So this will be clear by seeing this diagram. So in this diagram, first they have shown the location of the parathyroid glands. So you can see this is actually showing the posterior view, and these are the 2 thyroid loops, right and left, which are connected to each other via the help of this isthmus. So on the left loop there are 2 parathyroid glands, and on the right loop there are again 2 parathyroid glands. Okay. So when we see the histology of the parathyroid gland, we can see there are 2 types of the cell, oxyphilic cells and the chief cells. So we are interested in the chief cells because chief cells are the one which secrete the parathyroid hormone. Now how the secretion of the parathyroid hormone is done, we can see here in this diagram. So on the plasma membrane of the chief cell of the parathyroid gland, there is a receptor which is a calcium sensing receptor. So the name itself says that it senses the calcium levels in the plasma. Okay, correctly you can remember it is the free ionized form of the calcium which is being sensed by this calcium sensing receptor. So calcium will come and bind to this calcium sensing receptor, and this calcium sensing receptor is a type of G protein coupled receptor. It is coupled to GS and it activates the phospholipase C. The phospholipase C is an enzyme which will cause a breakdown of phospholipids to form the diacylglycerol, that is a DAG, and the inositol phosphate 3. So the DAG do what? It will activate the protein kinase C, and the IP3 will go and bind to the IP3 receptors present on the ER, that is the endoplasmic reticulum. And after binding to the IP3 receptors on the ER, it causes a release of calcium inside the cell. DAG will also activate the protein kinase C, and this will also increase the intracellular calcium levels. Now here you have to remember there is a one exception, that we know that the exocytosis is the process which is responsible for the release of the hormones. Okay, and exocytosis is always triggered when there is an increase in the intercellular calcium concentration. Okay, this I have already talked when I talk about the physiology of synapse. So I will share the link of that video in the description box and in the I button. You can go and check that video also. So there must be increase in the intracellular calcium concentration in order to trigger the release of the neurotransmitters as well as the hormones. But here in the case of the parathyroid hormone, it is not like that. If there is increase in the intercellular calcium levels, there will be no release of the parathyroid hormone. Okay, so why it is happening? It is happening because we know the stimulus for the parathyroid hormone secretion is the low plasma calcium levels. Okay, so and another point you have to remember here is that the calcium sensing receptors, they have a property, they bind to the calcium in a saturable manner, and as the concentration of the calcium increases in the plasma, their affinity towards the calcium will be increased, as well as there will be a more saturation of the calcium sensing receptors with the calcium. Definitely if there is increase in the concentration, more calcium will be there and more binding of the calcium with the calcium sensing receptor. This will trigger this whole process and raises the intercellular calcium level. So by this, the chief cells are known to the fact that there is a lot of calcium which is present in the plasma. So there is no need to release the parathyroid hormone, because the action of the parathyroid hormone is to raise the plasma calcium level. Already there is enough calcium in the plasma, so why it would release the parathyroid hormone? There is no point in doing that. And that is why calcium sensing receptors, they have a role that they bind to the calcium in the saturable manner, and they have an increased affinity when the concentration of the calcium increased. So by this, the chief cells come to know that there is calcium, how much calcium is there in the plasma, and accordingly that they will inhibit or they will trigger the release of the parathyroid hormone by reducing the, or you can say by increasing or reducing the intracellular calcium levels. So it is very, very important to remember that the increase in the intracellular calcium concentration will inhibit the release of the parathyroid hormone. Okay. So with this we can move on to the action of the parathyroid hormone. What is the mechanism of action? So parathyroid hormone will bind to a receptor. It is a peptide hormone. So the receptor will be present on the cell membrane, and since it is a parathyroid receptor, it is named as PTHR1 and 2. Okay, so PTH1R is more common. It is present on the kidney as well as on the bones, and it is a G protein coupled receptor. I said it is a cell membrane receptor, so it is G protein coupled receptor. Now here, with this diagram from again on, we can understand this concept that what is being happening. So you just forget about this another thing. We just talk about the parathyroid hormone now, that the parathyroid hormone came, bind to the parathyroid receptor. Now this parathyroid receptor is actually linked to the two signal transduction pathways. Okay, one is the GS and another one is the GQ. Both are G protein coupled receptor. It is a G protein coupled receptor. That's why it is linked to the G protein, but it is linked to the two single transduction pathways. So when the parathyroid come and bind to the parathyroid receptor, the GS will activate, adenyl cyclase will also get activated, and there will be a conversion of ATP to form a cyclic AMP. It will be then again phosphorylate or activate the protein kinase A, which will again phosphorylate many proteins to bring about the physiological action. Now, simultaneously, there will also the activation of GQ, which cause the activation of phospholipase C, and it will form DAG and IP3. So, the same thing which we have done earlier, there will be protein kinase C activation, and there will be a release of the calcium from the ER into the cytosol. So, by this two mechanisms, there is only one receptor, but this one receptor is coupled to the two single transduction pathways, and there is increase in the intercellular calcium concentration, and there will be what? There will be a bringing of the physiological actions, there will be a bringing of the biological effects which the parathyroid hormone is supposed to bring. Okay, so this is a complete action, it is being linked to the two single transduction pathways. Another thing you can see that there is one parathyroid related protein which can also bind to this PTHR receptor. It has a clinical significance, we can do it in another video. So now we move on to the next thing, which is the physiological actions of the parathyroid hormone. So like the vitamin D, the parathyroid hormone also has the actions on the kidney, intestine and the bone. So one by one we will look that what is the action of the parathyroid hormone on these target tissues. Okay, so first we will talk about the kidney. So on the kidney, because we know that the parathyroid hormone has a basic, you can say the aim of the parathyroid hormone is to increase the serum level of the calcium. So it will increase the calcium reabsorption in the distal convoluted tubule, so that there is increase in the serum plasma, there is increase in the serum calcium. And on the phosphate, it has an opposite action, it will decrease the phosphate reabsorption, causing a phosphaturia. So how does the phosphaturia is being caused? It is being caused by causing the redistribution of the sodium phosphate co-transporters. So in the previous video, if you remember, when we talk about the vitamin D, there actually we have talked that there is sodium phosphate transporters, inorganic phosphate transporters, which are present on the apical membrane, and through that there is absorption of the phosphate. But because of the PTH, there is redistribution of this co-transporters, and instead of present on the apical membrane, they are now present in the vesicles, subapical vesicles inside the cell. So this is how the absorption or the reabsorption of the phosphate is inhibited, by not providing the transporter essential for its reabsorption. Okay, we also know that vitamin D has the same action as that of the parathyroid hormone on the reabsorption of the calcium. So in the vitamin D video, we have also done that the parathyroid hormone actually causes the renal hydroxylation. It actually induces the renal hydroxylation of the 25-hydroxy vitamin D by inducing the enzyme renal 1-alpha hydroxylase. So by this it causes the formation of the vitamin D, and vitamin D further will act on the renal tubules to increase the reabsorption of the calcium. Now another factor which is very important to remember here is that there is one factor called as a fibroblast growth factor 23. This fibroblast growth factor is actually being released by the osteocytes, and it acts on the kidney to decrease the hydroxylation of the 25-hydroxy vitamin. So how the parathyroid hormone regulate it actually? Parathyroid hormone causes the hypophosphatemia, that means there will be a decrease in the phosphate levels in the plasma, and because of that action, what will happen, the fibroblast growth factor levels will be get decreased, and hence there will be renal hydroxylation of 25-hydroxy vitamin. So you need to remember that on the kidney, the parathyroid hormone has action on the calcium and the phosphate as well. It increases the calcium reabsorption, decreases the phosphate reabsorption by causing the redistribution of the sodium inorganic phosphate co-transporters. It also has an action of forming more vitamin D by inducing the renal 1-alpha hydroxylase. Okay, So why now the question has came that why the parathyroid hormone has opposite effects on the calcium and the phosphate in the kidney. It causes the calcium reabsorption in the kidney, but causes the phosphate or inhibits the phosphate reabsorption in the kidney. And we know that the parathyroid hormone has a role that it causes a resorption of the bone, it causes the release of the calcium and the phosphate both from the bone into the blood, but it reabsorbs the calcium from the kidney but causes or inhibits the reabsorption of the phosphate from the kidney. So why the parathyroid hormone is doing that? Actually, there is a product which is called as a solubility product, which is a multiplication of plasma calcium level into the phosphate levels. So that solubility product has to be remain constant in all the scenarios. So if the phosphate level is also rising with the levels of the calcium, what will happen? The solubility product could not be kept constant. So we need to keep it constant. For that, the parathyroid hormone increases the plasma calcium level by causing the bone resorption, by increasing its reabsorption by the kidney. But by the bone resorption, there is increase in the plasma phosphate level, but it causes the phosphaturia also to decrease the serum phosphate levels. So by this, it keeps the solubility product constant. So we require the solubility product to be constant, because otherwise what will be happen? There will be a formation of the calcium phosphate precipitates in the blood. So to avoid that, we need to ensure that the solubility product needs to be constant only. If we are raising the plasma calcium level, we have to lower down the plasma phosphate levels. So with this, we move on to the action of the parathyroid hormone on the bones. So previously, it has been said that the parathyroid hormone has only action on the bone resorption. Resorption means what? It means that there is degrading or digesting the matrix of the bone or digestion of the hydroxyapatite to release the calcium and the phosphorus in the plasma. So that is being done by the parathyroid. But now various studies have also saying that the bone formation is also a function of the parathyroid hormone. If we are giving the parathyroid hormone to a patient in a persistent way, it will cause a bone resorption. But if we give it in an intermediate manner, the parathyroid hormone is actually found to be associated with the bone synthetic effects also. So what are the mechanisms of this? First, we talk about the bone resorption. So how the bone resorption is taking place? By the parathyroid hormone. So bone resorption is basically a function of a cell called as an osteoclast. But the problem here is that the osteoclast do not have receptors for the parathyroid hormone. So how do the parathyroid will cause the stimulation of the osteoclast? So there is an indirect stimulation of the osteoclast, and that is done by the osteoblast. Osteoblast has lot of receptors for the parathyroid hormone. Osteoclast do not. So parathyroid hormone actually act on the osteoblast to cause a release of several cytokines, which can actually trigger the activity of the osteoclast. So how it happens? We can understand from this diagram. It is a very simple schematic diagram. So what is being happening? This is an osteoblast, which is responsible for the bone formation. This is an osteoclast, it is an osteoclast precursor, which will be differentiated in the future to make a osteoclast. Osteoclast is basically responsible for the bone resorption. So what is being happening on the action of the parathyroid hormone? The osteoblasts start expressing such cytokines which are responsible for the maturation of the osteoclast precursors to form an osteoclast. And one of such is that the macrophage colony stimulating factor, which is being released by the osteoblast, stimulated by the parathyroid hormone, to cause the differentiation of osteoclast precursor to form the osteoclast. Another thing which is done by the parathyroid hormone is that there is a ligand which is being expressed on the osteoblast, on the osteoblast. This ligand will bind to its receptor present on the osteoclast, trigger its further differentiation into the osteoclast. Okay, so osteoblast secretes MCSF, as well as it is expressing the RANK ligand, which will bind to the RANK receptor present on the osteoclast precursor, and both this will lead to the differentiation of osteoclast precursors to form an osteoclast. So by these mechanisms, the parathyroid hormone is acting on the osteoclast indirectly, causing the bone resorption. Now, how the parathyroid hormone is going to do the action of bone deposition or the bone synthetic effect. So there are three mechanisms which are saying this. We will look into this diagram to understand these mechanisms. So again, this is basically an osteoblast, this is a osteoclast precursor, and this is an osteoclast. So what is happening here, that the osteoblast is also causing the expression of the another protein, another ligand, which is called as a OBG. Now this OBG actually competes with the rank ligand to bind to the rank receptor. This is a rank receptor. Now what will happen when this OBG binds to the rank receptor? It will not let the rank ligand to bind to its receptor, and that is why there will be no differentiation of this precursor into the osteoclast. Okay, so that OBG expression is also increased by the parathyroid hormone. Okay, so now what is being also done by the parathyroid hormone? This is a one mechanism. The second mechanism is that this is an osteocyte, another cell present in the bone. Now this osteocytes do what? Normally it secretes a chemical called as a sclerostin, and this sclerostin will act on the osteoblast to inhibit its function, to inhibit the expression of the OBG. But the parathyroid will come and inhibit the action of the sclerostin. So definitely what will happen? The OBG expression can happen and it will inhibit the expression, it will inhibit the differentiation of osteoclast precursor into the osteoclast. Okay, so these are the mechanisms. Another mechanism is that when the bone is degraded, or you can say when the bone is resorbed, there will be a degradation or a digestion of the matrix. So from that there will be a secretion of certain growth factors which cause the activation of osteoblast to synthesize the bone. These include insulin-like growth factor, fibroblast growth factor, and transforming growth factor beta. Now here you have to remember one thing, that we are studying not only physiology here but also the pathology. Okay, so why? Because these are the concepts which will be coming in the pathology also. So we are not dealing with only one subject, we are collaborating the pathology and the physiology together to give you a whole idea of the concept. Okay, that is why the HM Learnings always says that we always try to clear the concept of the students, and that is why we combine physiology and pathology to make you understand the whole thing, the actions of the parathyroid so clearly that you can never forget that. Okay, so now on the intestine, we have already cleared that in the vitamin D video. Please go and watch that video. So parathyroid will increase actually the expression, the formation of vitamin D, and the vitamin D will act on the intestine to increase the absorption of the calcium. The mechanism of that already I have discussed in the vitamin D video. I will share the link in I button in description box. Go and watch that video also. So now we have completed the regulation of the parathyroid hormone. The next thing is that we have to talk about the regulation of the parathyroid hormone also. How the parathyroid hormone is being regulated. So it is being regulated by the help of a negative feedback mechanism. So negative feedback mechanism is a type of a homeostatic mechanism. We have already done a complete video on the homeostasis, its mechanisms. Go and watch that. So it will give you more clarity. Okay, so link you can find in description box as well as an I button. So here what is happening, we know that the parathyroid secretion is increased when there is decrease in the serum calcium level. This decrease in the calcium level will be sensed by the calcium sensing receptors, and they will be release of the parathyroid hormone. Now it will act on the kidney, intestine and bone to increase the serum calcium level. But when there is increase in the serum calcium level, this will again negatively inhibit the release of the parathyroid hormone, because the parathyroid hormone is now no longer required. This is called as a negative feedback. And the next thing is that the regulation of the parathyroid secretion is also being done by the levels of the vitamin D. So this figure gives you that how the vitamin D is being responsible for regulating the parathyroid secretion. Now this is actually a concept which is very interesting, and this is a higher concept. If you understand at an undergraduate level, it's fantastic. If you don't, it's completely okay. So here this diagram is from a Boron Physiology, which is a very good book. Now here they have actually talked about the thyroid hormone, but I am interested in vitamin D, because vitamin D and thyroid hormone, they act in the same way only. That is why instead of writing the thyroid hormone, I am cutting down and writing it the vitamin D. So vitamin D is a steroid hormone. It enters the cell because it is lipid soluble, and it also enters inside the nucleus. So after entering inside the nucleus, it will bind to its receptor, that is vitamin D receptor, and after binding to the vitamin D receptor, this receptor and the vitamin D complex will go and bind to the DNA, okay, the hormone response element. Now if you remember the video on the cortisol, we have done that in the cortisol what is being happening, there is homodimerization, means the same thing will be required for the dimerization. Homo means same, but here the dimerization is not homo, it is hetero. The another thing which came here is the retinoid X receptor. So this retinoid X receptor will come and bind to this vitamin D receptor and vitamin D complex to form a heterodimer, and then they will trigger the transcription. So if you see clearly that this receptor doesn't bind to any ligand, because it doesn't require to bind any ligand to bind to the hormone response element. So now this will act as a heterodimer bound to the hormone response element and trigger the transcription process. Okay, so now why I am telling you all these things. First, I have not tell you this thing in the vitamin D video, and secondly, it has a role in the regulation of parathyroid secretion. Why? Because the hormone response element to which this whole complex comes and bind is also have the regulatory element which is regulating the secretion of the parathyroid hormone. Means that this fragment also consists of the regulatory gene which is regulating the transcription, or you can say the synthesis of the parathyroid hormone. So when lot of vitamin D is present, vitamin D will come and bind to this hormone response element. This element will come to know that there is lot of vitamin D, so the regulatory gene will be get inhibited and there will be a decrease in the transcription rate. So when there is low vitamin D levels, vitamin D will not come, it will not bind. This will cause the activation of the regulatory gene, and there will be an increase in the rate of the transcription. Okay, so this is the same thing written in the words. So with this we reach at the end of this video. I hope the whole concept of the parathyroid hormone is clear to you. We have done this hormone in a detail because it is a very, very important hormone, very important long answer question. Watch this video in a relaxed manner and not in a rush to understand this whole concept. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment box, as well as you can mail me. I share my mail in all the description box of every video. Like, share and comment on this video. Comment on your suggestions for upcoming video, because it will help me to decide what should I post next on my channel. Follow HM Learnings on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get the content of the HM Learnings on the website SlideShare. Till then, keep learning.